Hey you guys, I'm AJ with Eyes on Jesus, and in today's video I'm going to share with you how you can take care of home health and hygiene without chemicals to be environmentally friendly and low toxin for the best health possible. So let's start with a short prayer. God, thank you for this opportunity to share. I ask for your blessing on everyone watching. I ask you to kiss everyone watching and kiss me too, Lord. Just ask for your blessing on this video, on this channel, and on our time. Just cancel all assignments, attacks, and resistance, and just flood the glory light of heaven onto all of us and into all of our environments. And we pray, thy will be done. Speak what you want to speak. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so if you don't know, one of the best ways to heal is to get toxins out of the body. This can be accomplished by detoxing. It can be accomplished by eating a diet that is naturally cleansing, raw food, plant-based diet. And I would recommend watching my video on detox to learn about methods to get the toxins out of the body. As I have shared in a lot of my videos, I used to experience health problems that I had no idea were coming from toxins, and I really had no idea it was coming from chemicals I was using in my home for cleaning and for hygiene and for all sorts of things, because I just did what I had traditionally known to do. Well, now I understand there are very effective ways to clean and take care of ourselves and our homes without using all those chemicals, and it is much healthier and it helps to eliminate a lot of health problems. So, hey, let's start with my diffuser. You can actually probably see it changing colors over here. This is called a diffuser. These things are wonderful for putting essential oils into the air. I've also put colloidal silver into a diffuser, but it kind of changed the color of the internal content. So if I diffuse colloidal silver, I prefer to do it in a separate container than essential oils. Colloidal silver, which I will get to, can be diffused, can be breathed in, can be used for a lot of things. But starting with essential oils, this is the main thing that I diffuse. All you have to do is put in some purified or distilled water, add like 5 to 7 drops of essential oils, and this puts into the air aromas that smell good, so it can be used for air freshening. It can be used in place of, I used to spray this stuff to clean, disinfectant sprays. This cleans pathogens, toxins out of the air. It also cleans out VOCs, which is awesome. The volatile organic compounds that can come from new things and carpet. So using one of these, diffusing the essential oils into the air, accomplishes many things. It also puts into the air like a steam that we can then breathe in, and it accomplishes cleansing within our own bodies. And I found it very helpful for healing to have a diffuser going. It cleans mold out of the air, and so this can also eliminate some of the toxic things that I tried to use to clean mold. Just diffuse essential oils, and essential oils come from plants. Isn't that awesome? Like God says in the Bible that the fruits for eating, for nourishment, and the leaves are for healing, and so diffusing essential oils is diffusing God's plants into the air and what comes from them. So that's really awesome. So to put in this, what I generally do is I have a bottle that I keep full of purified water, and so I can fill it up to the line, and then you can get one of these dark bottles that has a dropper on it, and you can make your own mix of essential oils, whatever you feel led to put in there. This is the Thieves blend, so it's got eucalyptus, rosemary, lemon, cinnamon, and clove. And so these are very effective. This is a very effective mix for killing mold and other pathogens, and it smells good too. And you can start out with a little bit, put in as much as you feel comfortable putting into the air. I also use this for, anointing things, sometimes for spiritual cleansing. Just take a drop of it and anoint a person or anoint, the doors or the windows or whatever. So it's a healthy way to do a lot of things. Now, while I'm on the topic of essential oils, some people use these internally. I have taken some internally at times. Well, let's go to dental care. With the essential oils, swishing with them can actually accomplish quite a lot. And also swishing with herbs, there are some, like for killing Lyme, that can be used to really correct dental problems. Just swishing with it, because a lot of dental problems can be related to pathogens or toxins in the mouth. So what I generally do with the essential oils is I get coconut oil, just like a tablespoon of coconut oil, put it in my mouth and swish with it for 20 minutes. That's called oil pulling. So the coconut oil is pulling these toxins out of the mouth and the dental area. So if you put in a drop of essential oils or a drop of some kind of herb like lime killing herbs or parasite killing herbs or whatever kind of herbs you feel led to put in there, that can accomplish really good things inside the mouth and turn around dental problems. So the rest of the stuff I don't actually have with me to show you, so you'll just have to envision it. But let me just finish on the dental part. What I generally do for dental care, instead of using toothpaste that might have some things added to it that are chemicals and not very helpful for health, there are some natural toothpastes. I'll probably make a separate video on dental care, but one of the things that I generally do is I use baking soda. I just put some baking soda in my mouth and I swish with it, and then generally I spit it, and then I go ahead and do the toothbrushing, and I use a floss, and then after I do that, I put the coconut oil into my mouth and swish with it and really pull stuff out, and that's really good for turning around the environment in the mouth. And then I can take some Himalayan sea salt in water and swish with that, and that assists with rebuilding, remineralizing the teeth. So that's a simple tooth care method. There are natural other things that you can do for dental care, and like I said, I'll make a separate video on that. So what else do we have? Okay, let's talk about vinegar. You can use distilled white vinegar for a lot of things. It can be used to, for instance, clean enema tubing. Yes, and I recommend enemas for healing. You can watch my video on enemas. But you can, if you need to soak and get something out of any kind of product, you can soak it in vinegar. White vinegar is really good for cleaning, and so you can get out stains and smells and other things that shouldn't be in products by soaking it in vinegar. I also just learned recently that you can use vinegar to wash mirrors, so it is a great natural alternative to something that's full of chemicals. Just clean them, spray it, or put it on your paper towel and clean the mirrors, and it does a great job. Also, my friend Dineski ends up using vinegar for cleaning toilets and says that it does a wonderful job for that. I haven't used it for a toilet, but another thing that you can do for toilets or for anything is to just clean on a more regular basis. So generally, after I do enemas and there might be stuff on the toilet, I go ahead and clean it so that it doesn't harden on there and build other stuff up and make it harder to clean the longer I wait. So it's a lot easier on the whole cleaning thing to just go ahead and do regular pieces of cleaning all the time. So clean the toilet right away. Just wipe it down with, if something gets on it, you can use a toilet brush or use, a paper towel with some stuff on it, or wet wipes, or whatever that you feel led to use, but you can be just very natural. The sooner you clean, it's a lot easier to clean. And another thing that can be used for scrubbing, for instance, toilets, is baking soda or borax. So baking soda has all kinds of uses, but scrubbing is one of the things that it's really good at. So I personally have used both baking soda and borax to, scrub stuff off shower walls and, the showers in general, the shower floor. I've used it to scrub sinks, or I think I probably have used it for the toilet at times. But it's great to get a little grit in there, and it really helps to clean things very well. So other things for bathroom cleaning, Castile soap. Liquid Castile soap is really great for cleaning all sorts of things, and it is also very multi-purpose. So liquid Castile soap, basically you can buy a tall bottle of it, and then just get a little soap dispenser. My husband and I use one that is it's like a it bubbles, a foaming dispenser. So generally, if it's a natural cleanser, we might use it. If not, we just buy a cheap cleanser and dump it out, and then use that container on a regular basis. You just put a tiny little bit, like probably a ½ inch of the Castile soap in the bottom of the dispenser, and then fill almost the whole rest of it up with purified water. You got to leave a little room for the pump to go in the top, but basically a tiny bit of Castile soap and the rest of it with water, and screw on the lid, shake it up, and then out comes foaming, healthy hand soap. And so that hand soap can be used for all sorts of things. I use it for washing my hands. I have used it for putting on my face. I've used it for washing my hair, and I've also used it as sort of a hair gel. It can be used, just put a little bit of the foam and water on a paper towel and clean the countertops and surfaces. And then if it needs a little bit more scrubbing, put a little bit of baking soda or borax on there to help with the scrubbing. The Castile soap can be used, in bigger portions if you want to put it in a bucket to do mopping or whatever. It's very multi-purpose. And so the other thing with these natural things is you can add them together. Maybe you want your foam, your soap for washing the floor to smell good. So put a little bit of essential oil in it, a couple drops of essential oil to make it smell good. So there's other things, for instance, making laundry soap. You can make your own laundry soap that is very healthy and non-toxic and doesn't have irritating chemicals in it. I've met multiple people that have discovered that they could get rid of symptoms by using very natural detergents. And the one that I am currently using is made, I don't really know who made it. I think it's Zoom, Z-U-M. And it uses essential oils, and they specifically don't call it a detergent. It's like a cleanser, so it cleans the clothes and it also anoints them. And I have found that my clothes feel really good spiritually when I use that, because I'll go ahead and put it in my laundry, and then I'll just say, I use it like anointing oil. I say, well, anything, any parts that don't belong, send them back where they belong, get them off my clothes. Any spirits that don't belong, just destroy them, but clean my clothes so that my clothes are anointed right now. They're blessed and dedicated to Jesus Christ of Nazareth, and nothing else is allowed to stay on my clothes. And so my clothes come out feeling very good spiritually. So I really like using that Zoom cleaner. It's a little bit more expensive, but I feel that it's worth it. And when I went and prayed over the different options for detergents and cleaning at the grocery store, that's what the Lord took me to, and so He likes it too. But in the past, I a lot of times used detergent that my husband made, and you can just look up ingredients for a homemade natural detergent. I'm sure that Wellness Mama probably has a recipe. She's got all sorts of good stuff on her site, but it probably includes some borax, and I think maybe there was some OxyClean used in there for some reason to make the bubbles. And I couldn't tell you, I think maybe Castile soap, yes. I remember because my husband put it in a food processor, put the ingredients in there, and food processed up the Castile soap, Kirk's Castile soap, and then added the other stuff in there and just made it so that we had a nice, you know, homemade detergent that we just scooped out and put in our laundry. So you can look up your own ingredients for homemade laundry detergent, and we just really found it felt really good to us. It didn't have chemicals and it didn't have, you know, bad spirits. It was homemade with our stuff. And you know, the borax in the laundry stuff is also really good for you know, getting out nanotech, and so it was good to include in laundry. Okay, so, and if you want to know what I'm talking about with nanotech, watch my video on Morgellons and nanotech. Okay, so let's talk about borax. Another thing that you can do with borax is you can use it all around the floorboards of your home. And we did it specifically for killing pathogens, toxins, nanotech, or, you know, just disabling anything that shouldn't be there. So we put it all around the floorboards of our home. You can put it, you know, in shelves, or I a lot of times put it in various places in the bathroom, etc. But it is also used in natural pesticides, borax is, and it's very natural. Some people take it internally. I have slept with it in my bed to get rid of pathogens that were coming out during the nighttime so they didn't go back into me. And you know, I never had any bad reaction from it. And I actually probably inhaled it a couple times and got it in my eyes a little bit, and basically I cried and coughed and it got out, you know, very quickly, and really there were no bad reactions to it. The pathogens did not like it though. I felt a lot better when I started sleeping in it. So the borax is a very natural thing that can go around the floorboards for a pesticide. And so, you know, some people talk about they don't want their dogs to ingest anything that's problematic. Well, borax, humans ingest it, so it's not problematic. And another thing that can be used as a natural pesticide around floorboards is diatomaceous earth. This is tiny bits of shells ground very finely. It's best to use food grade, so that way if you do have a dog that eats some, it's actually going to be really good for parasite cleansing for the dog. But the diatomaceous earth around the floorboards, when whatever problematic bugs come in contact with them, it's actually teeny weeny pieces of shells that sort of cuts the exoskeleton, and it gets rid of the bug problem. My friend Dana and Dineski also used the diatomaceous earth and helped get rid of the bug problem that he had in one of the apartments that he had moved into. So diatomaceous earth is also a binder that people take in. You know, it's very helpful for binding to toxins and getting them out of the body. So you can learn about binders on the detox video, but that can be taken internally. So in general, what we can take in internally is the best thing to use in our homes, in our environments, you know, for skincare and everything like that, because we only want to use natural stuff that builds health, and we don't want to do anything that deteriorates health. So let's see what else. Well, we can talk about natural products for hygiene, and I mentioned some of the things already for tooth care. There's obviously natural things that you can get at a store. You know, skincare, instead of some of the fragrances and lotions, you can use coconut oil for your skin, especially in wintertime. It's really nice to, you know, a little coconut oil goes a long way. If you want it to smell good, maybe put some essential oil drops in it and mix it all together, then use it. I have used iodine mixed with coconut oil on my skin to help with itching that was happening during my parasite cleansing and some of the stuff that was coming out of me. So it took care of the itching and it made my skin very nice. So, and coconut oil can also be used in place of like ointments and creams that might be, you know, used in the private area. Coconut oil takes care of sores and any kind of anything that doesn't feel good down there, the coconut oil handles it, and so it's very natural. And another thing that can be used for skincare, which I really like, is shea butter. And you know, coconut oil is pretty affordable. You can buy it anywhere for pretty cheap, you know, cheap to more expensive depending on what you buy. But shea butter is a little bit more expensive, but it's really nice for using on the face. I really like it because it takes care of the dryness, but it doesn't leave an oiliness. And so, you know, you can use it on the hands or wherever on the skin, and it helps regenerate stuff. And you can watch my video on the shea butter chocolate to learn more about shea butter. But that's another great alternative. And some people like cocoa butter, so those are some natural things for skincare. And anything that you want to make smell better, like I said, you can just add in some, you know, essential oils, anything that you like. And I know some people put in vanilla. There's probably a vanilla oil or vanilla something that I know raw foodists use it in there to make different recipes. And so if you're one of those people who, like me, I always used to use vanilla flavored lotions or smelling lotions, you can even make that kind. Just put in the right essential oils or whatever. Okay, so skincare. What about hair care? Well, I used to use a lot of chemicals in my hair, and I thought that I needed them, but the truth is you don't actually need all those chemicals. There are definitely some natural lines that you can shop from, and you know, even ones that use raw ingredients, so that's great. But if you want to do something very simple, you can just use Kirk's Castile soap. I have been using it for my hair for a while, probably some years, because before that I did no poo, which is also a method that can be used for the hair, and that makes use of either just water only washing and brushing to move the oils down to coat the hair and make it very beautiful, or washing with, I believe it's apple cider vinegar and baking soda. And so you can read more about that from other people, but that's something that people do a lot of times to get very beautiful hair, very healthy hair. And it cleanses, it detoxes, and it allows the hair and the natural oils that we're supposed to have to make the hair as beautiful as it's supposed to be. Now, I did that when I lived in a cold climate, and it was great. And when I moved to a very warm climate where there was a lot of mugginess and a lot of sweating, I found that I preferred to not do the no poo method. And so when I moved there, that's when I started using a bar soap. And so I think it was J.R. Liggett's was what I started with, and I used that for hair and skin. And then I actually had a friend who had tried Dr. Bronner's, and there were reasons that I wasn't using Dr. Bronner's, but the Castile soap from Kirk's was quite cheap. And it worked just as well. And so basically it got the nasty stuff out of the hair, because there is stuff in our environments that can get into our hair. And so it cleaned my hair, but it didn't make it ultra dry. And the other thing with hair is that it doesn't have to be washed every day. And I used to think that it did need to be washed every day. So it depends on the oils in the hair and the environment, and you know how much sweating is going on. But you know, you can see what works best for your hair. I have found that especially in the winter times, it's better for me to not wash it every day, because then the natural oils can coat it and it doesn't get dry. And so even some of my friends who have, maybe they do wash it every day because of whatever is going on, they just put a tiny bit of coconut oil in the ends of the hair. And like I said, coconut oil goes a long way. So I've put in coconut oil and then found like, whoa, that was too much, and made it really greasy looking. But use a tiny bit for all the ends. That can really help make the hair really nice. So those are some of the best things for hair care, skin care, dental care. for using the bathroom and going after the bathroom. So a lot of the people in the world use toilet paper, but there are some downsides to toilet paper, which I won't go into. But some other alternatives is there's one thing that people use called a bidet, and I don't know if that's exact, there's something that people make, which you can research this, but it's actually water, and it's used to clean the bottom after going to the bathroom. And this is used in European countries, so they don't actually use toilet paper. And so I have met multiple raw foodists that use this thing, and I don't know if it's a bidet or some kind of something that puts water to clean with. And so that's one thing that can be used that's more natural, and I've never used that myself. I tend to use wet wipes, and I use natural wet wipes, but there's still probably better options. But for me, I use that because of when I'm doing enemas, for instance, there's a lot of going to the bathroom, and obviously using toilet paper a lot can be not as comfortable. There can maybe be a point where the butt is like, okay, that's enough wiping. So I have found that wet wipes are really helpful to go ahead and get everything clean and keep the butt feeling happy. And so you can look into the most natural forms that are available, or whatever works for you, whatever you feel led to. Another thing for feminine hygiene products, instead of what has typically been used, that I used my whole life, I learned about something called like a cup that can be inserted and be used in place of all those other things. So there's different types of cups. Just look up menstrual cup and see what the Lord leads you to. But I have been using that for a couple of years, and I started with parasite cleansing, and I found it to be very, very helpful. It saves a lot of money, it saves a lot of waste, and it's actually a lot healthier because it's not putting all the toxic stuff inside the body. So that is a real blessing indeed. And then there are also some companies that sell pads that are made of cloth, and I don't know the specifics of them, but they're built to be natural and healthy, and I do have friends that prefer using those, and I don't know the specifics of how they work, but they are out there if you want to look into that. So that can be healthy as well. As far as foot care, I used to use some toxic products on my feet. Now I know that to make things like athlete's foot go away, we can actually do some natural things like detoxing, parasite cleansing, detoxing. We can do foot spas to get the stuff out of the feet that's actually the root of the problem, instead of trying to just sort of treat the symptoms. And meanwhile, I learned, I could just do a lot more open air type options for my feet to avoid too much sweating and holding bacteria in between there. But I found that eating a fruit-based diet really helped to get rid of, the majority of that, because I no longer had sustained high blood sugars. And that was actually sort of a candida based thing, which was sustained high blood sugars resulting in itching in various ways. So if you want to learn more about that, you can watch my video on healing candida. I'm going to go ahead and mention this. It's not really hygiene exactly, but it's foot care, and one of the things that a lot of people like to use is Vibrams, 5-finger shoes. They look like a little glove for the foot, sort of. And these are designed to actually promote health all over the body, because especially with the joints, because it sort of forces the body to use proper positioning while walking and running, because it's felt immediately if it is poor posture, poor technique. And so it's sort of a self-correcting way to improve posture and end up really walking and running sort of on the front of the foot. I mean, mostly running, but walking too. Sort of, we can walk with a spring in our step, And we just really focus on the front, and that really helps to correct a lot of knee issues that some people can have. And there's also some called like zero shoes, or something that doesn't have any support in the shoe, and it is designed to help correct posture and to correct issues. And you know, my friend Brian Rossiter, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was doing something called Egoscue, which is it's a method of stretching and doing things with the body to correct pain and other problems just by repositioning and doing things in a healthy way. So the Vibram 5 fingers, I mean, if you're somebody who can use sandals, which I have loved to walk around in flip-flops and there's certain flip-flops that are better than others. There's some that can be comfortable all the time, and there's also ones that are designed for health. But when in a flip-flop, you can also focus on walking on the front of the foot. It can provide a lot of breathing for the feet and avoid any issues with, you know, buildup or a lot of sweating. So that's another option. Now, if you're carrying heavy items, sometimes it's helpful to have a good walking shoe with support. So, but those are some of the health-related things. So we talked about laundry detergent. For sleeping, sometimes people might take some chemicals to try to sleep better. There's actually a lot of options for sleeping well, you know, from herbal teas to detoxing and cleansing. It really helps. I sleep in a Nikken sleeping bag, Nikken. It's got infrared, negative ion technology, and magnets that help with EMF protection and also help just bring a really relaxing sleep, a really deep sleep. Any kind of EMF protection really helps get rid of a lot of symptoms and bring a lot more relaxation and comfort to the home. As far as air cleaning, different things can be used for air cleaning. As I mentioned, the diffuser, and I did briefly mention colloidal silver. So colloidal silver can be diffused. Colloidal silver is we purchased a colloidal silver generator, and so a generator can be used to make boatloads of colloidal silver. We bought one for $150, and we found it very helpful because colloidal silver can also be taken internally and is really helpful for healing a lot of things. Lyme disease and Morgellons are some of the top ones. You know, people use it for cancer too, and other conditions. But colloidal silver is really good for cleaning mold, and so it can be sprayed on surfaces and cleaned. It can be diffused into the air and just, you know, fill up the diffuser with colloidal silver and just let that go into the air. And we found that helpful for people who maybe didn't like the smell of essential oils coming into our home, like maybe they're more sensitive to smells. The colloidal silver does not have any smell at all, so it was just going into the air, cleaning the air. And we have also used for air cleaning a little spray bottle, put colloidal silver in it, and you know, maybe like 15 drops of the thieves oil, or sometimes just lemon oil, essential oil, and spray that, and it's really good for cleaning the air and also for making a nice scent in the air. And so we used to use that a lot. We kept one in our bathroom to sort of spray and clean the air. Another thing that can be used in bathrooms that's really nice is enzymes. And I used to use one called SOS, and I ordered it from someone who sold that sort of thing. There's probably other enzymes that can be purchased, but I think that was just from a specific company. But the enzymes can be, like the one that we used was completely natural. It's just enzymes basically. And when, for instance, maybe there was a really stinky smell after doing enemas, and the enzymes you just put one spray into the air, and it had an initial kind of strange smell, and then it was gone, and every smell was gone. It just took care of smells completely. They just disappeared. And so, you know, I've used them at times if there was some parasite cleansing going on and maybe there was some stinky farts coming out, like, oh, get the enzymes, do a spray of enzymes and just make the smell go away. So that's another thing, it's natural. And I also know of people who have done mold remediation using enzyme-based treatment, and that was a natural way to take care of their mold. As far as cleaning mold, I have had people ask me about cleaning mold. Colloidal silver is definitely one of my top ways. I've cleaned colloidal silver out of like a cleaned mold out of a dehumidifier using the colloidal silver, and it can be used in, you know, bathrooms and just all sorts of services. The colloidal silver is cheap and takes care of it. There's another thing called concrobium that is used for cleaning mold, maybe like in things that are exposed to mold, like a garage or a RV, a truck. I've used the concrobium on the truck surfaces when I cleaned the interior, like the back end of the truck when I was living in it. So I would clean the surfaces with the concrobium to get any accumulating mold out. And so concrobium can also be used in bathroom, and it's one of the things that's, Don Bennett actually recommended it to me. He used it in his RV when he was cleaning up a mold issue from a leak. And so if Don Bennett recommends it, then I know it's healthy or one of the healthiest options. Another thing for cleaning up mold, actually related to in the body in the home, like there's definitely different air cleaners that can be used. And I personally have come to just really appreciate using the diffuser to clean the air, and then using a dehumidifier if it gets too, you know, if it's too much having the diffusing going on, it gets too much humidity plus showers. In the RV, we use the like probably 2 or 3 of the diffusers, putting stuff into the air to clean it, just because of what we were dealing with at the time. Don't necessarily need that many diffusers going, but so we had a lot of humidity in that, plus the showers, and we ended up just getting a heavy duty dehumidifier to sort of keep the moisture at a good level. And we had we were monitoring it, keeping it around like 45, 40% humidity. And I know some people prefer higher levels of humidity, but for those who are trying to keep any possibility of mold down and keeping the humidity lower, you can use a dehumidifier. And I really liked that in combination with the diffusers. I did try different air cleaners, and there are some that are definitely better than others. I have had experience with the EcoQuest, Volera EcoQuest, and I do know that people have talked about the value of the replacement parts and stuff, that they wouldn't purchase it again as far as that was concerned, but that I experienced that it did a really good job of cleaning the air. And that was when I was really testing a lot of things for air cleaning. So that might not be the best. I do know some people that really like different air cleaners, and there's probably a lot of personal preference involved. And so I personally don't use one. I have used some air cleaners with the HEPA filter that at first it seemed to initially help, but then it was sort of just swirling the moldy air around, and it eventually was like not that helpful. So really, after trying a lot of things, I come down to the diffuser and a dehumidifier if necessary. And the great thing about it, as I mentioned earlier, is that it does take care of VOCs as well. And that is one of the things that I was trying to get with the air cleaner when I was very sensitive, like hypersensitive. And so that is really good that this can handle that as well. This can handle that. Another thing for taking chemical smells out of the air, which is really interesting, is just putting some white vinegar in a bowl or a cup and leaving it on the counter, and that can also take some of the smells out of the air. I've used that before. Just put it in as many rooms as necessary, and that can help with the off-gassing that can come from new items, in addition to the diffuser, or if you're not using a diffuser. So there's probably more that I'm missing, but I would have to say that's a big load of very helpful items. So if you just kind of keep in your mind these different items that can be used for a lot of purposes. Baking soda, very multi-purpose. Oh, I should also mention with baking soda, this is what I use for deodorant, because, so I'm not really done yet. Baking soda was my favorite because there are natural deodorants out there. I have some friends that use the natural deodorants. I've tried them and I found that I didn't like either, I kind of left a sticky residue or it didn't work very well. Baking soda has been my favorite. It works amazingly. So all you have to do is, after I finish my shower, I make sure I get a little bit of wetness, put it underneath my armpits, make sure they're a little bit wet, and then I dip my fingers in the baking soda container. And I don't want a big amount that's going to sort of fall off on the way to my armpit, but just enough so that I've got some baking soda on there, and then I put it in my armpit, rub it around, my other armpit, rub it around, and then we're good to go. And that lasts all day. It can also take away odors that are already there. I have used it for that purpose when I didn't have time to take a shower. I just let me just wash it, take some Castile soap and water and wash it really quickly, and then put some baking soda in there. Or even if I didn't wash it and I just put some baking soda on there, it still took the smell out, which is pretty awesome. And I have noticed sometimes, depending if I put a little bit too much on there and then I start sweating and I'm wearing a dark top, I might get a little baking soda. You see, oh, there's a little bit of white spot there from it. But that's, you can learn very easily how much to put on. Just don't put excess amount on, and it works great. So baking soda, yes, can be used in the mouth. It can be used there. It can be used for cleaning stuff. It's very, very helpful. Borax around the floorboards, for scrubbing, in laundry detergent. White vinegar. You can also add white vinegar into a bath, or apple cider vinegar into a bath to help with detoxing. So it can be used for cleaning a lot of stuff, soaking, putting on mirrors, cleaning toilets, cleaning floors, cleaning medical supplies, which hopefully we don't need medical supplies because we're doing parasite cleansing and detoxing. Castile soap, so the liquid Castile soap, which can be used in the hand thing, can be poured in for cleaning floors, can be used on the body. So there's a solid Castile soap that I use in the shower, the Kirk's Castile soap. That's a solid bar. And then the liquid Castile soap, there's different brands you can buy. I don't even know the brand that I'm using right now, but it's just called Castile soap and purchased at a health food store or something. So the liquid is generally what goes into the foaming dispenser, and the solid I keep in the shower pretty much. Essential oils used in the air, used to make lotions or coconut oil smell good, taken internally. Some people put them on the feet. You can use essential oils to make your recipes taste better. You can make like a mint chocolate chip banana ice cream by putting some mint essential oil in there. Essential oils are great. Herbs, colloidal silver and concrobium for the mold cleaning, for cleaning the air. And get a diffuser if you want a diffuser. They're really great. Colloidal silver generator. It's really worth it. And so some people buy the colloidal silver, like a little container of it to take internally. But if you buy a generator, you can make loads of colloidal silver and it's cheap. You can give it to your friends, be like, here, it's free. Have some healthy cleaning and cleansing colloidal silver, and you can bless other people with it. We love to do that, because because not everyone has a colloidal silver generator. But if you know someone who's got a colloidal silver generator, they'd probably be willing to make you something for either low cost or no cost. My husband got it from one of his coworkers for free until we got one. He was just like, yeah, have it, because it's super easy to make. You just put the water in there and set the I don't know, diodes or whatever they are. Basically, you put the water in and push the button, and it makes the colloidal silver. And it's got, you know, we use something called the Silver Puppy. There's probably, you know, there's a lot of different types of colloidal silver generators. The Silver Puppy costs about $150 and worked great for us. So anyway, I think that's a good number of healthy things that you can use for all sorts of options. Cough medicine, I'm just sort of seeing this. You know, some people, instead of cough medicine, they put this diffuser in front of them. Or some people buy a nebulizer that basically puts the steam, and they breathe the steam in. And so they can, I don't know, whatever healthy thing you want to put in the nebulizer, but I do know people put in colloidal silver in the nebulizer and nebulized it and breathed it in. And it was very helpful for them. But I found, well, just put the colloidal silver in a diffuser, and then I can use it for the air, and I can also set it right in front of me and breathe it in and help with healing that way. And, you know, other people, for instead of cough medicine, they put some of that the stuff that you rub on your chest, camphorated oil. You can use essential oil of camphor, or is it essential oil or a herb or something? But the camphor is something that you can, you know, put on your chest, and then it does its work that way. So you can use that instead of cough medicine. And there's also something called a neti pot that people use for sinuses, and getting out instead of sinus medication or all the antibiotic stuff that is not helpful. This neti pot basically shoots water, like salinated, so it's got some salt in it, I believe, a saline solution or something like that. But they shoot it up, it goes up one side of the nose and then goes over the top and comes down the other. And I have just heard people rave about how it took care of their sinus issues and really helps with detox, and they didn't have to take all that medicine that didn't help anyway, you know, long term. And so that can really help with problems and avoid coughing. And another thing, I don't just keep on seeing cough medicine here. One of the things that happens during detox, it happens during deliverance sometimes, is coughing out toxins and coughing out spirits. And it's like actually good to get it out, because sometimes the body is like, let's get the junk out. And so it comes out in various ways. Maybe it comes out through the ears or the eyes or the mouth or the bottom or the skin, or it comes out through sneezing or coughing. And it's like the body is getting rid of toxins. So it's actually a good thing. When we cough, we're getting rid of toxins. And so instead of having the mindset like, oh, I'm coughing, I need to suppress the cough, actually go ahead and cough, get that junk out. You'll feel better and healthier once you get it out. So there's a lot of things to learn about detoxing and cleansing that are a mindset shift from everything that I grew up, and probably that a lot of people grew up doing. I do feel like I'm supposed to mention castor oil. So castor oil can be taken internally. It can be used in place of enemas to sort of doing a cleansing from the top down, clean out the system and get rid of a lot of health problems. And it can also be used on the skin. Some people just put castor oil on the skin to make their face look a lot younger. I've used it on my skin and I really like it. It is it's very nice, and it's not very oily making. You just use the right amount, and definitely it really helps with cleansing. So I think I really will finish this video there, end it. And so thank you for joining me for this video. I'd recommend also Wellness Mama. I really like her stuff. She's got a lot of quality information, and I've never met her in person, but I've used a lot of her information, and she's got so many resources out there, and she does things in a very cheap, economical way. She's a mama, and so she's got a lot of tips to offer as well. So you can probably find do a lot of searches and actually look up wellness mama, and you probably find answers there. So God bless you guys, and I will see you next time. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Bye.